For the 25th time, the champ cars have traveled to the picturesque Elkhart.Lake in rural Wisconsin and will grace the fast straightaways and challenging corners of the famous Road America. Welcome to Elkhart.Lake's Road America. My name is Jeremy Shaw. Alongside me, as usual, is Atlantic Series frontrunner James Hinchcliffe. James, perfect weather conditions, a huge crowd, and a great place to go racing.
It really is, Jeremy. Long straights, heavy brake zones, and quick corners. That makes for some fantastic passing opportunities here through the very scenic circuit at Road America. Yeah, just tremendous fun here. We're going to see all sorts of strategy played out during this race. It will be 1 hour and 40 minutes, a little bit less time than usual, but there's going to be a lot of strategy played out. And the big story this weekend, I think, is the fact that finally Sebastian Bourdais has had his opportunity to race in Formula One next season with Scuderia Toro Rosso. And here is what our three-time champion had to say about it.
I think it's kind of a long time overdue, but this place doesn't always reward the fastest car, and that's the way it is. There are a lot of out-of-sync strategies going on, and the Magnus car has been pretty high up there for at least 2 years, and we'd never quite transformed the SS, so it would be really sweet.
He's had an absolutely amazing record in the Champ Car World Series, won 3 titles in a row, still going for his 4th. 27 wins, 29 career poles after this weekend. Just an amazing record. He's got a 10-point lead in the standings right now over Robert Dornbos, Will Power and Justin Wilson, however, very much in the championship reckoning. And I think we've got a lot of racing to go for the rest of the season. Still 6 more races. And let's have a look at the for today's race. And for the 29th time in his career, it will be Sebastian Bourdais who starts on the pole position, closing in on Michael Andretti's 5th all-time list, 32 poles for him. Will Power, for the 6th time this year, will start on the front row. Robert Dornbos, he's had 2 wins already this year, will start alongside row 2 with Graham Rahal in the 2nd of the Newman Haas-Lanigan cars.
5th position, Bruno Junqueira, another impressive run. Alex Tagliani, who was very quick here on Friday, looking to move forward. Down to the inside of row 4, Neil Johnny for the Red Bull Gulfstream PKV Racing entry, and Dan Clark also quick here last year.
New colours for Jan Halen and the Conquest Racing team this weekend. He will start alongside row 5. Justin Wilson, disappointing for the R-Sport team. Tristan Gomedy was 2nd quickest in the warm-up for PKV Racing. Simon Pagenaud, well, he's struggled in the 2nd of the Derek Walker cars.
Inside of row 7, Ryan Dial, 6th quickest on Friday qualifying, not able to match that on Saturday. And Oriol Servia struggling with Forsyth Championship Racing. The other PCM car of Alex Figge rose up on the inside of Liade alongside the other Forsyth Championship Racing car of Paul Tracy.
And Catherine Legge, boy, she has really struggled this weekend, as have both of the Forsyth Racing cars. And this weekend, Maurice Nunn has been brought on board as an engineering advisor for the Forsyth Championship Racing team. They're trying to turn things around. Just been a desperate weekend for both Oriol Servia and Paul Tracy. Elkhart.Lake's Road America, an hour north of Milwaukee, one of the world's great racetracks, a favourite venue for virtually all of the Champ Car drivers. Let's listen to how they describe the various parts of this 4-mile classic.
You're flat out down the pit straight, it's long climb uphill, cross start finish, and then you're trying to set up for turn 1. Very late braking, always feel like you overslow the car in turn 1, but try and flow the speed through there, get on the power as early as possible.
It's a little bit downhill when you brake to turn 5, so it's very easy to lose the gear on the braking. You downshift from 7 to 2nd gear. That's the slowest-ish corner of the track at 65 miles per hour.
Carousel is definitely a place that'll separate the men from the boys. It's very physical, very hard on your neck. For us, it's a 6th gear flat-out corner. You have a little breather mid-corner. The goal is to have the right front in the grass, and by the time you get to the exit, it's definitely a good feeling.
And the corner is a pretty important corner. It's the last corner before you finish the lap qualifying, so it's coming from a high speed. You have to brake late, so you gain your time on braking, but also get a good exit to finish your lap off.
It's a great racetrack here, and of course that final corner, that's also important for getting onto this straightaway here. It's uphill onto the start-finish straight. Going to have some great onboard footage for you this afternoon. Graham Rahal from Newman House Lanigan Racing. Will Power will start on the front row. Justin Wilson back on row 5, certainly not what he wanted. Bruno Junqueira, another excellent performance in qualifying for Dale Coyne Racing, and that team making its 500th start in the Champ Car World Series. Dates back to 1984 when Dale Coyne himself made his debut in the Champ Car World Series. That was at Mid-Ohio, another classic racecourse. We're lining on the start here, James, and the start is going to be very, very critical here.
It absolutely is. The first lap here, it's a downhill, it's downhill actually at the back of the grid, so tough for the standing start. Bit of a downhill run into 1, into 3, and into 5, and there's always lots of jockeying for position on this first lap. It is going to be exciting, Jeremy.
It certainly is. The standing starts they introduced this year at Portland, they've been a big success. We've seen a few people stalling from time to time, not however in the last couple of races, and once they get the final car of the 17 starters is lined up from the grid, on the grid, there'll be a 15-second board, and then we'll get ready for the starting light sequence. There are 4 lights, red lights that will come on in sequence. When those lights go off, we will be racing here at Road America. Another textbook start from Sebastian Bourdais. It's very close at the back of the field. You saw the 2 Forsyth Championship racing cars appear to be side by side, coming off turn 1, plunging downhill into turn 3. Somebody stalled on the grid. I think it was one of the PCM cars, perhaps Alex Figge, towards the back of the pack, but everybody else got through cleanly. On board here with Justin Wilson. That is Tristan Gomedy making a move down the outside, or it'll be the inside line going to turn 5, James.
Very downhill braking into turn 5. The draft down these straightaways as we see 3 wide here, 3 wide, and there's contact. Both Forsyth cars, a PCM car, a Forsyth car, and of course it's Pagenaud in the Team Australia car.
Yeah, and looks like Ryan Dalziel is going to come off worse. I'm pretty sure we're going to go full course trailer. There is confirmation the pits will be closed, and that is you could see it coming up, couldn't you, James? You have 3 abreast down into turn 5, and that ain't going to work, is it?
It really isn't. But the thing about Road America is with these long straights, fantastic drafts you get as we go to a replay here. It's just so inviting. And you see Pagenaud tries to make it 3 wide there. Tracy just stuck in the middle. Ryan Dalziel just stuck in the middle. Really has nowhere to go. And ultimately, I think that was just Pagenaud being a little bit too aggressive on the first lap there.
Yeah, he was so disappointed to qualify way back on the grid. I don't think he made a particularly good start either. Well, he can't have done because he was trying to pass Paul Tracy, who certainly started behind him on the grid. And as you say, I think a little bit too impetuous there from the Frenchman. This race 1 year ago, this event 1 year ago, he clinched the Atlantic Championship and the $2 million prize that enabled him to get a ride this year with Walker Racing Team Australia. And this was his worst qualifying performances of the season for Simon Pagenaud. I think trying to make up too much ground too early here in the Generac Grand Prix of Road America. So under caution on the very first lap here at Road America, there is Paul Tracy's car being restarted by the Holmetro safety team. And I think the good news for PT and perhaps these other guys as well is because it's such a long racetrack here at Road America, James Hinchcliffe, he should be able to get him going again without losing a lap.
It's going to be very important for him because obviously a lap to make up here is quite difficult with a 4-mile racetrack. They're going to have to, they can't just push start him here. The section he's at is actually steeply uphill right now, so they're going to have to hook him up to that safety truck, get him bump started. But like you said, Jeremy, a pace lap here takes probably nearly 4.5 minutes. So,
and particularly right now because fuel saving is going to be very much an issue in this race. It's because it's such a long racetrack, and now they have a smaller fuel tank than before. It used to be 35 gallons of methanol fuel, now only 32. So that really the fuel range of these cars is only either 12 or 13 laps. That's why we saw them as soon as the call went to go to a full course caution, everybody backed right out of the throttle, go into top gear and use as few revs as possible.
Yeah, we were. I was just going to comment actually before how Bruno Junqueira seemed to get a really good jump on Graham Rahal on the start, moved into 4th position. But as I was thinking it, we're getting word from race control. There's actually been a penalty issued to car 19. That is, of course, Bruno Junqueira for jumping the start. So, but looked like just a good getaway was judged by the officials to be a little bit too good. So he's going to lose that, and that's pretty upsetting for Bruno, I imagine.
Yeah, that is a great shame for him. They're on the pit lane. They're waiting also for the Forsyth racing car of Paul Tracy. So we're still under caution here, but a long, long way to go here at Road America. So Sebastian Bourdais leads from Robert Dornbos under caution. Bruno Junqueira shown in 3rd place right now, ahead of Graham Rahal, and for change, Will Power did not make a good getaway from the outside of the front row of the grid. Will Power now in 5th place for Team Australia, the other major championship contender, ahead of Alex Tagliani, Neil Jani, and Jan Halen up into 8th, ahead of Tristan Gomondi and Justin Wilson. So Wilson lost a couple of places at the start. Bill Stevens.
Down here with Team Australia, Rick, and Simon Pagenaud is just now leaving the pits. Couple of things. They had to replace the nose cone on the front of the car. But, Jan, this is something we talked about, tire strategy. None of these teams are really that thrilled with how the Reds have been performing. Simon Pagenaud switched immediately over to the blacks.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of that this afternoon. Thank you, Bill Stevens. We're going to see a lot of guys switching over to the blacks as soon as they possibly can. In qualifying, yes, you can see the red tyres coming off there, the red sidewall tyres. As ever, Bridgestone brings a couple of different construction tyres here to Road America. The red option tyres, the alternate tyres, I should say, a little bit softer compound, a little bit stickier. But this weekend there's been very little difference in pace between the black and the red sidewall tyres. In actual fact, in final qualifying yesterday, almost everybody opted to run on the black sidewall tyres. For a change on Friday, Sebastian Bourdais actually went out on a set of the reds. He found them slower to be slower than the blacks on Friday. So yesterday in final qualifying, both his sets of tyres that he ran yesterday were blacks, James. However, before we go, let's have a replay at the start here. You can see that at Bruno Junqueira there on the 3rd row of the grid on the left-hand side, the predominantly white car there. So it did seem to get away before the lights went out, and that's a great show. Here we are on broad with Bruno. Yeah, you can see the car crept there.
He did move just a little bit, and he did get a good jump. And Will Power very, very slow off the line. And as you say, Jeremy, very uncharacteristic of Will. He's usually a bit of a rocket ship off the start line there, but
it's a great shame for Bruno. He's done again a stellar job for Dale Coyne Racing, and his poor teammate Catherine Lake, she's just been really struggling this weekend. They cannot make that car handling anything like what she likes. It's very loose on the entrance to the corners, and people are saying, well, you know, is that a legacy of the accident that she had at this very point of the track at the Kink 1 year ago? I believe it not to be the case. Catherine is as brave as they come. That is firmly in the past so far as she is concerned, but there's clearly something amiss with that race car, and they just haven't been able to find out what it is. When we see Catherine later on, however, you'll see there's a new paint scheme on that car. Michelle Beisler in the pit lane. She's standing by with Rafael Matos, who clinched the Atlantic Championship and a $2 million prize last time out a couple of weeks ago at San Jose. Rafa Matos looking to move up into the Champ Car World Series.
Yes, Rafael Matos, congratulations on clinching the Atlantic Series Championship. Now with that $2 million prize that's being awarded to you towards a Champ Car ride, where are we going to expect to see you next year?
Well, I haven't signed anything yet. We've been talking to some teams, and hopefully we make the better decision and get a good ride to next year. And you know, it's just been a great season for us all year long, and just can't thank enough my team. Sierra again this weekend did an amazing job, and ProWorks sponsoring the car, and everyone that has been supporting us, I can't thank enough. I'm just very glad for the team.
All right, congratulations. We'll see you next year.
Thank you.
Back up to the booth.
Thanks, Michelle Beisner. And Rafa Matos, it was his 2nd year in the Atlantic Series driving for the Sierra team. And James Hinchcliffe, you drove alongside him this year, and certainly having the advantage of running the 2nd year with that team really helped Rafa Matos, but he is a talent.
It did right from the get-go. I mean, Rafa stamped his authority on this championship, winning 3 races in a row to start things off, and really just was a dominant force. He drove really well all year, was always in the right place at the right time, and got it done when he had to. So big congratulations to him for sealing that deal, and it'll be good to see what he can do in Champ Car next year. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think he's going to be, he's been a star all the way through his racing career and won championships in the Skip Barber National Championship. He won the Star Mazda Series, and now he's won the Atlantic title as well. And that $2 million prize that went along with it. We saw there a bunch of people making pit stops. We talked about it earlier on. People are going to be trying to save fuel. We reckon if there's about 3 or 4 laps of full course caution during this event, it will turn from a 4 pit stop race into a 3 pit stop race. So that's why we saw a bunch of guys, particularly farther down the order, coming onto pit lane. Those would include Dan Clark, Oriol Servia, Alex Figge, Paul Tracy, also Simon Pagenaud and Ryan Dalziel. Ryan Dalziel is back in the PCM car number 28. He sat out the race in San Jose. You will remember Mario Dominguez standing in for him there. That was as a result of the Scotsman breaking his collarbone in a bicycle crash earlier in the week. We're still under caution here at the Generac Power Weekend at Road America.